Part 3, Chapter 17. Less than a minute later, she pulled the Jetta into her garage. We both climbed out, and she led me through the back door into her house. "Let me talk to him first," she said. "Explain things." "No," I said. Let me talk to him, Chance. I know him. It'll be faster." She saw the impatience in my eyes. "Trust me. Go through that room to the stairway. At the top, turn right. You'll see the solarium. Wait there." She disappeared through a door. I went where she pointed, walking through a huge room with sofas and bookcases and oriental carpets and paintings. A fire was going and classical music was playing, even though no one was there. I found the stairs and climbed them to the solarium, which turned out to be a large sunroom with granite floors, a big screen television, and ceiling fans to circulate the air. A telescope was mounted on a tripod in the corner. I tilted it downward so that I could look through the viewfinder toward the beach. The blurry specks that had been people were suddenly so clear I could see the moles on their faces. I thought about how hard I'd tried to make sure no one saw me poking around in the rocks. What an idiot I'd been. All of the homes along the bluffs had telescopes on their decks, binoculars in the cabinets. People lived here because they loved looking at the beach, the mountains, the sky. How many of them had trained telescopes or binoculars on me? I swung the telescope toward Pier B. I wasn't sure if I could pick out the tiny dancer, but it was worth a try. I scanned down the piers slowly, Pier G, Pier E, Pier C, and finally Pier B. I checked out the ramp and the security gate. Everything looked completely normal. I slowly moved the telescope from boat to boat. There was lots of activity. People who hadn't been on the pier in months were getting their boats ready for opening day. Dozens of sailboats were out in Puget Sound, where a week earlier there had been fewer than 10. I moved the telescope slowly down the pier, hoping to see my dad. A couple of times I scanned too fast and the telescope jumped way offline. Finally I managed just the right touch. There was Tasker's sailboat with the Mariner's windsock, then Nelson's at slip 41, Heller's at 43, and after that Kovic's boat. I stopped. Somehow I jumped over the tiny dancer. I ran the telescope back. Kovic's boat, then Heller's, then Nelson's, one more time, with my heart pounding. Nelson's boat, Heller's, Kovic's. The tiny dancer was gone. Just then I heard footsteps coming up the stairs, moving fast. I stepped away from the telescope as Melissa's father came through the door. I'd pictured him as a tall and thin with glasses and maybe a trim beard or goatee. Instead, he was balding, barrel-chested little guy. "Think for a minute, Chance, then tell me exactly what I need to know right now, okay?" His voice was calm but intense. His eyes were intense, too. Whatever Melissa had said had had its effect. There was no doubt in his expression. He was ready to act. I left out any explanation of how the explosives got on the tiny dancer and just told him what was there. "There's something else," I said, gesturing toward this telescope. "The tiny dancer is gone." "Did your father tell you he's going to take it out?" "No, and he wouldn't have unless he had to. It hasn't been out in years. The rigging, the sails, the hardware, it's not seaworthy." "What are you thinking, then?" "That he took it into the Sound to keep the terrorists from getting to the explosives. Either that or—" I couldn't bring myself to say it. "Or what, Chance?" Mr. Watts said. "The terrorists have got the boat."